All right, check it out. I'm not there yet, but you'll get here. And for those of you who watch it later, so Leo season, right? You know, I hardly talk about. I hardly really get into zodiac. I mean, I do, but I don't focus on zodiac. Oh, wave to you too. Peace, Ken 171. Peace. Peace here by Danae. If I said that correct. Is it Danae or Danny? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. So excuse my folly. But yeah, a bunch of people, bunch of my clients, like for a while now, I've been talking about this Leo season. Chief, what can you tell me about Leo? I'm a Leo. What can you tell me about Leo? Leo. And you know, I don't really put a lot of emphasis on zodiacal symbols because they change. You know, as you mature and as you evolve and as you develop, your zodiac assignment is going to change, evolve, and develop. So it really just gives you a starting point for where your body started at, right? So I really don't put a whole lot of emphasis on it, you know, in terms of zodiac. Yeah, I'm a little loopy again. You know, I think one of the last times I did a live, I was loopy. I did 2 nights back to back of all-nighters. I've been doing some serious spiritual work. So hey man. So I might go cross-sided a couple of times, you know, but it is what it is. But yeah, man, that Leo thing. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys some Leo knowledge, some Leo wisdom. All right, because everyone seems to be so excited about it, you know, excited about the whole Leo season or whatever, right? All right, the first thing you need to know about Leo is this. Leos function from the heart chakra. So Leos are all heart chakra, okay? So, of course, you know, we already know, of course, well, a lot of people know, of course, the Leo is associated with the lion, right? That's Leo, lion. That's kind of an easy one. There's also the association with the sun, right? And one of the reasons why the association with the sun is so significant is because the zodiac prior to Leo being Cancer is associated with the moon, right? So one has a strong maternal piece and then the other one has a strong paternal piece, right? So whereas when you're dealing with that Cancerian energy, yeah, anyway. So when you're dealing with the Cancerian piece, right, you're dealing with all moon energy, which is like really dealing with the gut, right? Everything is from the gut. Everything is very sympathetic. Everything is very maternal. And when you're dealing with the Leo aspect, everything is about authority, right? Everything comes from the heart, you know, so you're not really you're coming from the solar, but not so much. You're coming more from the heart chakra, from that middle point. And everything is about authority, how you laying down authority, right? So a lot of times you find with Leos, when they speak, they kind of have this impression of themselves that their word is the final word, right? Whatever I say, it is what it is. And whatever you kind of say is like, hurry up and finish so I can say what I need to say, you know? So it's kind of like they feel this strong sense of authority and innate authority. They're born with it, you know. Oh, you like Madonna, huh, Ken? You know, Ken 171. Let me say the whole thing. But you know, so it's that sense. It's that sense of like, I come into the world with all this authority. I come into the world with all this positioning because it's that sun energy which represents itself as authority. It's so paternal that the only person that a Leo really wants to listen to is a paternal figure. It really is a father. And that there's a whole nother science behind that. Why father figures are so important to Leos, right? And really how they express themselves, whether it's male or female, is different, right? And one of the big reasons for that is because the female aspect comes from the huntress aspect, right? And that makes all the difference in the world, the fact that she's a hunter, right? Because, you know, just in the lion kingdom, right, you have the men lion, and the male lion really has all that, yeah. Like I told you, I've been up like a couple days straight, so my music is keeping me up right now, man. So you're going to have to take this ride with me. Some people, I don't drink coffee or anything like that. Some people use caffeine or whatever. I don't drink coffee. I had coffee once when I was 7 years old. I took a sip of it. I snuck over to this little cooler. It was at a Boy Scout meeting. And all the parents were there at this Boy Scout meeting. And they had coffee. And I thought coffee was like liquor, because only adults drink it. So I'm like, I'm going to go sneak and get some coffee. And I drank it. And I was like, what the freak? What is this? This is disgusting. I was 7 years old. That's the last time I drank coffee. So I don't have any of that stuff, man. That was before I got kicked out of the Boy Scouts. I got kicked out of the Boy Scouts. You know, for fighting. But anyway, so yeah, but anyway, and I wanted to be an Eagle Scout so bad, but that's a whole nother story, man. Because, you know, if you get they told you if you make it to the Eagle Scouts, you get to meet the president. So I wanted to go to the White House, but I didn't make it to Eagle Scouts because I threw this kid down some steps. But so anyway, back to the Leo thing, right? So when you're dealing with the male Leo or the female Leo, it's very different, because the female Leo, they both function from the heart. Definitely, they both function from the heart. But the female Leo is a lot more strategic, you know, especially when it comes to relationships, right? So let's just get into it. I'm gonna give y'all some because my phone doesn't have that much life on it, man. So it's gonna die soon anyway. So, and plus this little thing I got my phone sitting up on, it's gonna fall over any second now. So when either one happens, whether the battery dies or the phone falls over, I'm just gonna, you know, with the live. But anyway, so like I was saying, with the Leo woman, her aspect and her energy is all about hunting, so she knows how to get close to the ground and wait before she pounces, right? So whereas the male Leo energy can be really loud, right? As many of us know, when they come into the room, because they're recognizing that when the sun comes, the sun represents the harshness of life, right? Because it's the day, it's all the harsh things that we have to do during the day, all the things that make up the workday, so forth and so on. So when the Leo man comes in, he has this sense of like, I'm here, now we can get started. The sun's here, we can get started. Whereas the Leo female connects a lot more tightly with the zoological aspect of Leo, where it's the animal aspect, where she's got that huntress aspect, which is really, it's the Artemis in her. You guys should, like, if you don't know about Artemis, learn about Artemis. It's important to know about Artemis. So like, you could associate female Leo with Artemis and associate male Leo with Helios, right? That's a good way for you to get your balance on each of them, right? So her thing is like, especially when it comes to like loving, what's this? Something crashing. Like I told him, battery's on its way out. So when it comes to relationships and it comes to loving and things like that, when you're dealing with when you're dealing, okay, I'm up now. Now I'm up. When you're dealing with a man with a male Leo energy, his energy is so reserved and so regal when it comes to relationships. So a lot of times with that male Leo, right? I mean, there's Leo, right? they have this sense where it's like, when it comes to relationships and sexuality, they can become purists, where it's like they can go years without sexual interaction if they feel like there's no worthy partner there for them, right? So there's no in between, there's no gray area. It's not like with certain other symbols and energies where it's like, it's just something to do. Like, let me call up, Big Booty Judy. I don't really like her, but something to do tonight, right? So they don't really necessarily have that kind of energy, man. Whereas the female Leo, she's similar in a sense, but she's more excited about the hunt, right? So the promise or the thought of intercourse or interaction is more excited to her than a lot of times even the actual act, And when it comes down to the act, with the female Leo, it has to be really vigorous, right? Because, Leos are usually naturally pretty athletic, and that's one of the reasons why they look for certain kind of partners that fit their purist mentality. Like, they're not necessarily enamored by partners who may be kind of out of shape or whatever like that. Sometimes they can become a little mean with it too, but they kind of look at that, they sense it like that, right? So with the Leo energy, right, with the female, when it comes to intercourse and it comes to that level of interaction, for her, it's almost like a sport, because she's a really good receptor for sexual energy. And what that means is, like, even if you're just walking past her, right, and you look at her and you're like, she pick up on it like immediately. It's like her hunting senses pick up on it immediately. And then what happens is that she starts to take on that sexual energy for herself and for you together. So it's like double sexual energy, right? So by the time she gets into the sack with you, it's like you really have to bring not just your A game, but you have to bring your stamina and athletic game with the Leo woman. The Leo woman is or again, that Artemis energy. And you should know something, that the archetype Artemis is also related to the word Arthur. Arthur, Artemis, they have the same root. So there's that authoritative and authority as well. Authority, Artemis, Arthur, right? So it's the idea of I have the final word on this. I have the final say on this, or maybe even the first say and the only really relevant say, right? So a lot of times, again, with that Leo female, man, and for those of you just coming in, man, this ain't no class. This isn't a class or anything like that, but I just was I was talking to some clients, man, and they wanted some Leo information. A lot of my clients in the season been hitting me up with this Leo season thing like that. So I was like, hey, man, talk about Leo, right? So yeah, man, and peace to everybody who's waving. A wave and a squeeze. Nah, don't get me wrapped up in that Me Too stuff. It might be a virtual Me Too. He squeezed the screen and I felt it, But yeah, so it's still from the heart, right? So the interaction, even when you're dealing with a Leo woman, like, a lot of times she's not really going to engage with you physically for the physical pleasure of it. It's still that aspect of, like, she wants to make that emotional connection, but ultimately what she's connecting with is that fury of the hunt, So even when you're engaging with her physically, a lot of times she's going to want a lot of intensity. She's going to want a lot of intensity, and most importantly, she's going to want a lot of duration. So, like, if you're a man, like, because Leo women tend to be pretty attractive. So if you're one of those cats who, when you look at a woman, you're done, or you have a good 6 or 7 minutes in you, you're gonna have to like one different techniques to extend your stamina. She also is more turned on by someone who can regenerate very quickly, and a lot of times, her ability to regenerate you quickly will also turn her on even more. You know, if you understand what I'm saying, I'm attempting to not be too vulgar, but at the same time giving you zodiac game from a different perspective, right? Or Leo game from a different perspective. So Leo woman is very interesting, like I said, in that sense, because she has that huntress aspect. And the Leo man has the regal aspect, has the aspect of royalty already created in him, right? And remember, both of these signs and symbols are coming from Cancer, which is previous, coming from Cancer over to Leo. And Leo's the only fixed sign, too. So that's another, like, little special little tidbit, right? So coming over from that Cancer, like I said, is strictly maternal. And the maternal aspect connected to the word material is all about presence. You know, it's all about bringing things into existence. So the maternal energy governs existence and governs presence, and the paternal energy governs creation and authority. So on being, and one is fixated on creating something. So that Leo fixated on creation, right, the paternal aspect, is always going to be very sensitive to the certain type of ingredients it needs to create. You know, so that's why sometimes they can be purists in a certain aspect, man. And I've seen a lot of Leo women too, like, because they're so enamored by men who have a certain intensity for life, right? Some call it passion. I don't like to use the word passion too much, but who have a certain intensity for life, right? But I've seen a lot of Leo women get thrown off course like that, because sometimes they can easily confuse someone who's hypersensitive for someone who is intense. So, you know, just because you got a guy who, like, you know, cries at every movie that you do and cries at the sunset every night doesn't necessarily mean he's intense. He might just be, like, overly sensitive. We'll just say that, right? So sometimes that alone will confuse her. And she'll think that she has this intense guy, and then she'll find out, especially once she gets him in the sack, because so much is physical with her, she finds out, like, nah, man, it ain't that. You know, but like I said, a lot of times the Leo man will kind of hold out and will kind of wait on his lover. Like, you know, he'll put some time, and because if it doesn't fit his royal standard, he's not going to do it. You know, that's kind of what's in his mind. Like, if it doesn't fit where I want to be, I'm not doing it. If she's not a perfect mating for my regality, it's not going to happen. And that's just because, again, you hear this squeaky chair. Every chair I have sounds like something's going on that's not going on. I love you. All right, that's how you know I'm loopy. I'm getting silly. All right. But, yeah, so his sense is more like, again, of authority and creation and regality. So based on that, he's going to hold out and wait for that exact queen, if you will, or that exact regal partner that he intends to have, right? But what that also means is a lot of times, like, for that whole Leo season, especially if you have Leo children, right? They can be highly rambunctious, but it doesn't mean that they're necessarily overly sexualized. They're not necessarily like the Leo. The Leo, the Aries. Aries energy, maybe I'm not going to do like an astrology breakdown every time a certain season comes. So let me let you know that now. If I was going to do that, I would have did it years ago. I'm just, you know, playing with this Leo thing with you for a second. So, yeah, Phil Collins just took me there for a second. Hold on. Let me come back. I'm reminiscing. Phil Collins just took me there for a second. You know? You know? But yeah, man. So, yeah, a lot of times when you have those youth like that, like one good way to understand your Leo child, or even to understand a Leo adult or a Leo man in particular, I'm gonna tell you a good tale to read is read about David and Goliath. It is a Leo archetype, and even in biblical form, the Book of Kings is actually associated with the zodiac of Leo. So it's that kingly regality, but the Leo always has this sense of toppling giants, if you will, right? So it's that David and Goliath aspect, but they're always toppling giants in a sense in order to redeem or prove their worthiness to a paternal figure. And that's one of the reasons why fathers are so important to Leos, because they see themselves as the smaller ruler, or like the little prince, if you will. So their thing is always to connect with the king energy, male or female, but especially for male Leos, more importantly. But they always see themselves as proving themselves to that higher king in order to be put in position. The Book of Judah, Lo, because you're asking about the Lion of Judah, of course, man. But Judah is a little different, man, because Judah is ether. Judah is really melanoid people. That's why Judah, it means praise. It represents praise. You know what I mean? So Judah is kind of a different type of vibe. But yeah, in a sense, because you have the Lion of Judah, Yeah, I was just saying with Aries, Baba Randy, was that with Aries is proving something to the world, whereas Leo is proving something to their paternal energy, because Leo already comes through with a sense like the world is mine. That's why Leo children a lot of times it's so difficult to get them to do what you want them to do, because they have this sense like, first of all, my word is I come through with that innate sense of authority. They don't necessarily feel like they have to earn authority like Aries might feel. They already come through knowing like I'm a ruler, I'm a king, I'm a queen already. Let's do this, let's go. So a lot of times when you start to try to impose certain authority on a Leo, it's just they have a little trouble vibing with that. They really won't even mess with you. Leo woman is good with mimicking though. She can mimic submission really well. And a part of that is her huntress aspect, because just like she'll crouch in the grass and she'll mimic grass, so she'll mimic a low animal, but when she pounces, that's it. When she pounces, that's it. And a lot of times, even in love affairs, she comes across the same way, man. Like once she sees someone she likes, she's very much she's very overt about her feelings. You know what I mean? Like she'll let you know right away, I just think you're everything. She'll kind of gush, all over you in that sense. But at the same time, just because she gushes all over you doesn't mean that she's still not going to hunt you. And a part of that gushing is like, you got to look at it in the animalistic form. When a lioness sees prey that she's about to hunt, she drools. Like she knows, like, a gazelle, like I'm about to eat. So a Leo woman has that same type of energy. When she looks at a man that she's into, it's like, like the witch on Bugs Bunny, a man. She's like that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that she's gonna come right in for the attack right away. A Leo man would though. See, a lot of times a Leo man sometimes could use an off switch. Because they but a Leo woman she'll fall back because she's going into a certain mode when she see, I'm getting a lot of hearts. Thank you, y'all. I appreciate that. Thank you so very, very much. making me feel good, make me feel good. But yeah, man. So the Leo woman, when she is ready to pounce, man, when she sees something she likes, she crouches, she goes low, but she's like, So what happens, even by the time you engage with her physically, she has all of that, built up in her. Peace, alien black girl. You know, she has all of that excitement built up in her, and that's why she wants the experience to be just as passionate as her hunt was, if you will. So a lot of times, if you're the type of guy that's man, I got all these cuts all over me, man. I'm always cut, always bleeding. Got a cut on my ear. Saw it earlier. Woo, whoa, damn. Look at all that blood. I just be bleeding all the time. Deep cuts. I don't know where it comes from. Like on my period, all over my body or something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, man. So like I said, like her movement is kind of like that. You got to look at it as the huntress. But the Leo man, because he operates from the heart, a lot of times he'll withdraw until things are right. Because you got to look at it like this, you know, because you're dealing with a fire sign, right? So the fire sign of that Leo energy, because it's from the heart, look at it like a fireplace. That's how I always used to kind of like visualize it, right? The Leo energy, or the Leo man in particular, but the woman too, one of the reasons why they can be so withdrawn at times, or they can be so important, at least in their own mind, they can be so important to a moment, is because they have that energy where their fire represents the hearth. You know, you like the heart and hearth, we say that term. But, you know, your heart chakra is at the center, right? So the fire of that Leo is like a fireplace is at the center of a house. So a lot of times they'll withdraw because of the function that they need to serve to keep everything in balance. And that's why a lot of times they're also very sensitive to what they bring into their world. Like, you know, I can't have this here, can't have that there, because that I run the risk of either putting my fire out, or maybe these are constituents that don't necessarily belong inside of this home environment. So I'm not going to put these in there. You see what I'm saying? So they can be very selective in that sense, in a good way. You know, another good example, man, of peace, Anwar. You know, another good example of Leo. You're not going to believe me when I tell you, but, you know, sometimes I give you guys references, and I'm saying you guys because I know the IG community is not necessarily my students and stuff, but, you know, sometimes I give you references that you don't believe me when I give them to you, you know, and they'd be like, oh, he's trying to dismiss us and brush us off. I'm not. I'm gonna give you some game. I'm gonna give you some game. You want to get into Leo, and you want to really learn what Leo is hitting on, right? I'm gonna show you what you do. Learn about or read. Did I miss Pisces? No, I didn't go through all the signs. No, I'm only talking about Leo because people been bothering me for a month now about Leo. So no, this is not a zodiac walkthrough. You know, you want to know about Pisces? Pisces cry. No, I'm joking. But they are sensitive. But I'm joking. But they're no more sensitive than Cancers, you know, because again, it's all that moon sympathetic energy. But what was I saying? Somebody help me. I lost my place, man. Told you I've been up for like 50-something hours. So I don't know. Somebody pick me up where I left off, man. I'll jump right in. I was saying something about the heart, the fire in the house. Virgo, y'all, I don't know why y'all shouting out your signs. I'm not going to do no breakdown on every sign. Read. I don't know what you're talking about. Was I talking about something about Reed? Anyway, I don't know, because y'all are no help. But anyway, so, yeah, man, they represent that centerpiece. Like the heart chakra represents the centerpiece of the game, right? Read something. I still don't. Freaking mosquito, man. If I catch you, boy. These mosquitoes been feeding on my on my blood in here, and I think they starting to act like me. Got him. Did I get him? I got something. I hope I didn't just kill a ferry. It wasn't moving like a mosquito, but it was flying. It might have been a ferry. I always have a lot of ferries around me. Yeah, man. But I be having these thugged out mosquitoes, man. I know they be flying slow around me. Big wings could probably hardly keep them up. You know. But yeah, oh, right. Thank you, Reed. Thank you. Y'all gotta come on, you could type a little more than that. Thank you. If y'all want to know about Leo for real, Reed, thank you so much. I won't say your name. But Tom Sawyer. Read Mark Twain's Tom Sawyer. If you want to know about Leo, and it gives you so much game. Tom Sawyer was actually so now y'all want to help. Greedy to you want to tell us to know more about Leo. Y'all coming in. It ain't that big of a delay. But yeah, man, read Mark Twain. You know, met you back in Jersey kicking it about self-actualization. Why do I feel like I think I know exactly who you are, brother? I don't know. I feel like I know exactly who you are, Shaka Zulu XXX. I'm gonna ask you something, and let's see if you can remember. When I met you, did you have your hat on backwards? And I know that sounds like a random question, but I never forget visuals. You know, and if it was you, that was like 4 or 5 years ago. If it was you. But yeah, man, read Tom Sawyer. You said I look like your good friend. Yep, I knew it was you. Peace, man. Long time no see. Yeah. That was you. You had your hat on backwards. I remember. Yeah, that was like maybe 2013, 2014, something like that. Yeah. I know who you are. Yeah, bro. Peace. You know. Yeah. I remember you. Yeah, you look like a childhood friend. Yeah. You know. So yeah. My memory is crazy. Yeah. It's a gift and a curse though, trust me. There's a lot of stuff I wish I could forget. You know, but I remember everything. There's a lot I wish I could forget. Gift and a curse. But yeah, man, Tom Sawyer. Read Tom Sawyer. I'm telling you, man. You want to learn about even the energy of Artemis, or like that Dawu or David and Goliath story. You got to look at the interaction between Tom and Injun Joe, right? If any of you familiar with Tom Sawyer, you know Injun Joe was like the giant he had to topple, right? But yeah, man, that Leo energy, they come into the world feeling like there's a Goliath waiting for them, or feeling like there's an Injun Joe waiting for them, and the truth is there is, because they represent the redemption of the paternal energy, or the redemption of the father, you know, or the redemption of the son. Because even though Leo we associated with the sun, it's really more like the son of the sun. You know what I mean? Like God's son, or the son of the son, you know, like a Jesus archetype. So they already come through with that sensibility, with that knowing of that feeling of obligation. Like, you know, I have to establish a kingdom from the rip. I have to establish a kingdom. That's one of the reasons why the Leo is signified by the lion with the mane. Whenever you see that mane represents masculine virility. All right. So anytime you see that in any kind of mythology, and they tell you that something had a long mane, a long hair, what it represents is virility. All right. So when the Leo comes through, it comes through already, male or female. It comes through already with like, gotta get it done. And that's why a lot of times, even with the female Leo, see, the male Leo will walk away, from sexual experiences, because they'll say, well, this woman is not, she's not of the caliber for the kingdom, if you will, right? But the female energy will walk away from sexual experiences because they want to put their hunting energy towards a professional goal or a personal goal. So sometimes, a lot of times with the female Leo, you have to overwhelm her into getting into you. You know, so like she'll be like all about her career, all about this, all about that, and she puts all of her sexual energy, all of her creativity, all of her ferocity into that. And as a man, you have to come along and you have to be so much bigger than that. You have to be so much bigger than her goal when it comes to that type of energy. So you see, they're both very selective in many senses, but they're selective for different reasons. You know, a lot of times with both of them, creativity is their core. Creativity is their base. But creativity for them is very fluid. It's not like the Virgo energy, where Virgos can be creative, but at the same time, they have this strong sense of order, where in a sense where it almost like, if they can't be creative, they get so frustrated they don't want to do it anymore. You know, whereas the Leo is so in love with itself and it's so in love with its creativity that the universe opens up to it. You see, it's just like in a relationship. Sometimes people who are completely self-absorbed and whatnot, they can be not so pleasant and fun to be with. But at the same time, sometimes the massive love that a person has for themselves, it transfers to you, and you start to have this massive love for them too. You see, that's how that Leo energy is. They're so enamored by their own talent, by their own skill, by the sound of their own voice, that we end up becoming enamored with them because of the confidence and the love and the excitement that they have around themselves. So when you get into their vibration, when you get into a Leo vibration, you have to be even bigger than that. So essentially, you have to be bigger than the sun. Peace, Natural Roots, NYC. And 1221. Everybody who waved, I didn't catch all the waves. But, you know, but like I said, it's different, man. You know, and yeah, there is a self-absorption there. And there is a me, and an I type of thing. But because basically they represent that fire of willpower, right? So everything with them is about, you know, Q-Tip did this beat. Right? Doesn't sound like a Tribe Called Quest beat. Q-Tip did it. But anyway, so a lot of times with that Leo energy, right? What happens is that they pull back in certain ways for different reasons, but they have this full absorption of themselves to a degree that, again, we start to have an absorption into their world, because essentially what they're seeing themselves doing is building a kingdom, right? Everything with them is about building a kingdom, you know. So even if it's on the feminine aspect, she's hunting, but she's hunting manhood in a degree. And like I said, there's a ferocity there. Whereas with the male energy, what he really is looking for is also space, right? So a lot of times, you know, he'll accept what you're saying and he'll listen to you, but he knows whatever you're talking about is basically a step between what he's trying to talk about. Because sometimes, you know, and again, it's that kingly authority where it's like, and that takes a lot of talent, man. A lot of talent. I'm telling you, as a teacher, you know, I was talking to another, one of my martial arts brothers, but he teaches martial arts as well, like I do. And he was talking about another, you know, brother who, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor, right? And he was like, yo, and he told me this story like years ago, but it didn't really register until we talked about it again another time. And he was like, yo, I remember when I was in, I'm not going to say the brother's name, but he was like, yo, I was in his class and he was going over this technique, right? And he had a student who was doing it wrong, who kept doing it wrong, right? So what he did was he had the student teach him the way he was doing it. So he had the student teach him the wrong way, and then he learned the wrong way, tried to use it, and then taught the student the right way. Now, I know that may sound small, right? But a lot of times as teachers, when we get into that position and when we get into the authority position, myself included, a lot of times when a student comes to us with something wrong and they're trying to explain it, we'll be like, no, I ain't trying to, listen, this is what you need to do. You know, like we're quick to cut them off. Like we don't want to spend time doing something that we know is the wrong thing when we're trying to give you the right thing. And then sometimes also it's like we don't want to be contaminated with the wrong thing because we may not be strong enough to learn your wrong thing and still give you the right thing, right? So it was very interesting that this particular teacher was humble enough to say, you know what? Let me get into your thinking. Show me what you're doing here. Teach me your tech. It's the wrong thing, but teach me your technique. I want to understand what you're thinking, what your thought is, right? That takes time. You know, if I took time myself, I have over 3,000 students. So if I took time and out of the 3,000, 2,995 say something wrong daily, right? So let's say if I took time and said, I want to learn each wrong thing and learn where your mentality is. Now, that would take so much, you know what? That would take so much admission that teaching is really what I was born to do, right? Because that's what it really would be. If you really say you're doing this and teaching is what you're here to do, that's what it would take. You know, but I don't even do that. I'm not even that good, you know, as this particular individual. So yeah, a lot of times it's that Leo energy. When you get into that authoritative place, you know, your mind kind of goes into a space where it's just like, I have the final say on this. I have the first say and I have the final say. Just do it the way I'm telling you to do it, and that's the end of it, right? Yeah, boy, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about Leos. Yeah, talking about how messed up you are, boy. What's up, boy? What time is it? It's almost midnight. I'm about to lock the door. So unless you sleeping out tonight, player. All right. It's 11:50. You can sleep out. It's a warm night. Sleep under the stars. You'll sleep under the stars tonight. So, yeah, Leo energy. Yeah, we're talking about how horrible it is and the reason why Leos have imbalanced the whole planet. We're talking about global warming because you just tuned in. So we was just talking about, oh, you at Kobe's house. Okay. All right. Your brother's with you? No, he's coming home now. Okay. Anyway, yeah, Leos have imbalanced the whole planet, man. You know. Nah. So what we're talking about is, again, how the Leo has an authoritative sense, and your behind is a good example. They don't listen. It's that Tom Sawyer. It's the idea of, remember I said Arthur was also related to Artemis? So the Leo is also related to King Arthur. That whole King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table, that actually was a Leo story. Because it's the idea that Leos will work as a part of a team as long as they head up the team. So you always notice with King Arthur and Knights of the Round Table that King Arthur would assemble them. He would call them to the round table. So Arthur, authority, Arthur, the one who creates, one who writes the story, right? So that Leo energy is always saying, like, listen, I'll rock with you, but I got to be in a power position. If I'm not in a power position, remember how you was on the basketball team last year? Woo! I was there with my video every game, filming you sitting on the bench. Yeah. But anyway, so how do we make them listen? How do we make Leos listen? You don't make a Leo do anything, Sister Natural Roots NYC. You don't make them do anything. I hate to say this with this boy listening, but I gotta say it. You respect the fact that they come in with a royal mission. And because they come in with the royal mission, the reality is that, oh, I knew that motherfucker bit me. I felt something on my leg. Freaking mosquito. So anyway, yeah, you respect the fact that they come in with a royal mission. The only person a Leo is going to listen to is their father, because it's that connection to the sun energy. That's it. As a woman, they're not going to listen to you. You know, that's just what it is. Again, think about David. Think about Tom Sawyer. Think about Arthur. You have all of these stories and all these mythological archetypes where it speaks about like a child genius, because that's what the Leo is. Leo represents the energy of child prodigy. So, like King Arthur was a young king, right? You know, and the idea that David Ruffin in the group, right? It's like David Ruffin, you know. So it's that idea of that child prodigy. So as they grow, they just grow more into their regality. So you really, in all honesty, you can't really tell them anything. You could try, you know. Now Leo female is a little bit different, because the Leo female, you still can't really tell her anything, but she's really good at mimicking listening. You know, in fact, even in her relationships, a lot of times the way that she enters into a relationship is through mimicry. You know, so she'll find somebody she likes and then she'll just kind of copy them, right? So that's her hunting aspect of her shadowing the person and making the person kind of drop their guard. And then once she pounces, then it's like you get the ferocity, you know, of what she actually is, you know. So, yeah, that like I said, the Leo energy, the connection there with the lion and the virility and the regality and the kingdom building, a lot of it has to do with they have such high views of themselves that they won't allow themselves to submit to your thought. And remember, again, they're working from the heart chakra. So if you're saying something that they don't feel in their heart, they're not going to rock with you. You know, because everything is heart with them. It's not, you know, it's got to come from that central place, you know, very similar to, like, let's say the Aries energy is all about the blood, you know. So with an Aries energy, it's all about how things flow into life and how they cut roads and flow into life. You know, it's that warrior energy. Whereas with the Leo energy, they're very centered on, like, without me, everything stops. Without me, everything starts. So, because I already know that and I was born with that knowing, why would I have to listen to you? You see? So the only thing you can do is just put the pause on them. Put the pause on them. Before you get any ideas, boy. You know how I get down. Because all this talking don't work on them. You just gotta, you gotta knuckle them down, man. You gotta beat them down like silly putty, man. That's what it basically is, man. When you done with them, you gotta make their face look like crumpled up newspaper. That's how you gotta deal with the Leos, man. Because they're hard-headed. They want to do whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Work out, get in a martial arts class, maybe kickboxing, whatever, you know what I mean? Get some brass knuckles, you know, and let them know who's boss. Yeah, that's what you do. That's how you do it. Some children you got to parent from a distance, man. You know, for some children, non-parenting is the best solution, man. And with Leos, again, you have to kind of establish a structure where they can build their kingdom, and you got to sit back and respect the fact that they came to build kingdoms. They didn't come to be subservient. And if you try to make them subservient to anything, even you, they're going to resent you. They're going to get as far away from you as they possibly can, and they're going to resent you therefore. And that's even when you're dealing with the Leo woman, you know. Damn, I can see that already. He's 5, Chief. Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It doesn't matter. When you're dealing with a Leo boy, as soon as he comes out the womb, he's like, all right, I'm here now. Now we can get it popping. That's what, in his mind, that's what he's thinking. We can get it popping. I just showed up. Yeah, I know y'all been waiting on me, but the Messiah's here. Right? And as a mother, what you have to do, see, a lot of times the mothers of Leo boys, even girls to a degree, they fall into this pattern. Even if that's not their personality archetype, they fall into this pattern where they become they really patronize that energy. in a strong way, but sincere patronage, where they really cultivate and feed that sense of superiority. So everything they do, that child does, the mother's like, oh my God, it's great. He just, they did this and that. Right? So that Leo child, they need that as they're coming up. They need that sense of praise. Right? And mothers a lot of times instinctually know to just give it to them. Now for the father, it's annoying. And the boy will tell you, because we'll be like, that little didn't do anything. He ain't even do it. Why are you praising him? He didn't even do anything. He tied his shoe. So the F what? But then the relationship becomes with the Leo boy and the Leo father, or the Leo girl and the Leo father is like, I'll show you. See what I'm saying? So yeah, it's it could be a little complex, but like I said, non-parenting a lot of times is the solution. You gotta just kind of pull back. That's the way you do it, But like I said, from a sexual perspective, because it's almost midnight. We're talking late night talk, right? That Leo man, you never want to try to trick him into a one-off, because if he doesn't feel like you're worth it, he's gonna be brutally honest with you. Like, especially if you're like overweight, or like, because they're so physical. They're so like, they will fat shame. But if they just feel like there's a gray area with you and maybe you good enough or maybe you ain't good enough, it's best to leave them alone, because they're going to end up really hurting your feelings, So MGC says, which energies would be best to parent from afar? Nowadays, all of them. Definitely Leo. And I kind of don't really get into the zodiac thing too much, to be honest with you. I'm well studied in it, but I don't like talking about it too much, because it's like, let's go beyond zodiacs. You know what I mean? So I'll entertain the question, but I'm also gonna say, like, push your children beyond the zodiacal assignment. You know what I'm saying? Like, push them so that the zodiac doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? How you get here so fast? Yeah, alright. I'm still on this live. Coming in here with those pulled up socks. But yeah, man. What was I saying? Oh yeah? Don't tell nobody. Beat it. Yeah, see how children may throw you off, man. We was riding good till they show up. Not my daughters though, not y'all sweethearts. My daughter's been watching the lives, so I gotta keep it somewhat clean. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't try to look that news. Yep. Ooh, because he got his ass. He got his behind here at 12 o'clock on the dot. See what I mean? You just got to put the pause. Once you put the pause on them, and then you got to do like maintenance. So like seasonally, just be walking out, going to school. So just give them a little shot in the short ribs. You know what I mean? What's that for, about a little tune-up? That's all. Just tune them up once in a while. You know what I mean? Little headlock here and there. You know what I mean? If you fixing something around the house, you got a little Phillips head screwdriver and they nearby, just give them a little jig. Just a little bit, not too much, just a little, don't really, you could pierce the skin just a little bit. Keep them in line, man. You know what I mean? You gotta keep your foot in their chest. I don't know, that's the school I'm from. I'm kind of old school, man. Yeah. Keep a foot in their chest and everything be alright. But, yeah, like I said, man. So when it comes to the intimacy, man, with each one, it's interesting. A lot of times, especially like with the female, Leo, she has a tighter grip down there than most women. And that's because she's so bent on the stamina, aspect. I appreciate the profound verbal beloved. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, a little shank, but not no, not official, not like I'm sharpening the toothbrush on the floor. You know what I mean? But like a little screwdriver or something. Like anything I got that's pointed, you know what I mean? I'll just give him a little jig. You know what I mean? Hey, it works. She's 12 o'clock. That ass was up in here. See that? You know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, you read Tom Sawyer or you read like the stories of David, King Arthur, you start to understand why they're so rebellious in a sense. And it's because they look at you as you're the one being rebellious. Like, I know what I'm doing. You're the one that's in the way. And yet the female Leo, a lot of times she has that vice grip. A lot of times her lips are a little smaller too. She's got a different kind of clench, and that's because she's a hunter. She's a huntress. She pulls you in, and she doesn't really want you to leave in that sense either. You know what I mean? So physically, there's some interesting things that go on. I'm not gonna get too deep into that. You know what I mean? Because I'm about to end this live in a second. You know what I mean? But those are the things that happen with the Leo. And like I said, Leo season, of course, is all the other, of course, general information that everybody else is giving you too. But there's other stuff to know about. Figured I'd let you know about. But yeah, man, like I said, with that Leo, man, one thing that Leos can rock with for long is abstinence, man. They can abstain from activity for a while, and it doesn't mean that they're not highly sexual, but they're really good at channeling their energy into other ones. Oh, answering the question that you asked before about with children from a distance, definitely Aquarius. I'd say Aquarius, Leo, Scorpios, definitely Scorpios. Matter of fact, I would just say those three for now. And for different reasons. They each come through with such a strong sense of mission. You know what I mean? That is best to kind of support. That's the thing when you're raising children, man. A lot of times as parents, especially in the West, in America, man, there's so much here. It doesn't really make sense to not expose your children to things, man. A lot of times children are really just too sheltered. Well, I don't want to say sheltered because I don't have a problem with sheltering children. But I would just say that a lot of times they're really underexposed. So you might have a child that has that displays a certain interest in a certain area or a certain passion. And your job is just to support it. You know what I mean? Just expose them to things that are related to that, man. To this day, I have, I was telling one of my elders about it recently. I have 3 chess sets, beautiful chess sets, right? Because when I was 7, I learned how to play chess, right? So, because I learned how to play chess, like, the elders is like, woo, that boy playing chess, and he a chess genius. They just took. But as a result, my elder ended up buying me. First, he bought me one set. It was like a plastic set. Then he bought me a wooden travel set. Like I'm gonna be traveling on a train somewhere playing chess with Sherlock Holmes. And then they bought me this beautiful limestone set that I still have and use to this day. So that's just an example of a child shows an interest in something, and you expose them to, and you bring them around experts who know about it and things like that. And because of that, I mean, those are the same chess sets that I played on with my own children. And then I bought like the big piece ones too that you can, but, when you have a child that, like, especially a Leo child, and they show an interest in something, you got to take them serious, because when you don't take them serious, they feel like you're insulting them. Because again, I got 28 seconds remaining. All right, cool. So I'm out of here. That's good, because I know my battery's probably getting ready to die. I'm not going to start another live. Y'all got enough game on Leo, all right? So I gave you something a little extra, and I'll probably do a live. I'm lying. I don't know. I do these things whenever I feel like it. So with that,